אנחנו מדליקים הערב נר שני של חנוכה. אנחנו נמצאים במלחמת התקומה, דור המכבים של ימינו, ולפני שעה קלה חיל האוויר תקף מטרות של ארגון הטרור החותי בתימן, גם בקו החוף וגם בצנע. אנחנו נחושים לגדוע את זרוע הטרור הזה.
القوات البحرية والقوة الصاروخية وسلاح الجو المسير في القوات المسلحة اليمنية عملية عسكرية مشتركة بعدد كبير من الصواريخ البالستية والبحرية والطائرات المسيرة.
The Houthis have just crossed a dangerous new threshold in Middle Eastern warfare. This past Thursday, under the bright Yemeni sun, Iranian-backed forces launched not one, but two long-range ballistic missiles toward Israel. A brazen daylight attack that changes the rules of engagement in this conflict. What makes this strike particularly alarming isn't just the missiles themselves, but the calculated timing and messaging behind them. While U.S. fighter jets continue their bombing campaign against Houthi positions, strikes that began intensifying back on March 15th, these militants are proving they can still hit back with terrifying precision. To understand why this matters, we need to look at the bigger picture. Since Israel began its military campaign in Gaza, a campaign that's claimed over 50,208 lives and 130,910 wounded, according to Palestinian health authorities, with women and children comprising nearly 70% of casualties, the Houthis have positioned themselves as Gaza's unlikely defenders. Their attacks aren't random acts of violence, but carefully choreographed demonstrations of power. This latest missile launch came within 48 hours of Israel's unilateral withdrawal from ceasefire negotiations, after accusing Hamas of violating terms. The message: while diplomats talk, the Houthis act. Let's analyze the psychological warfare at play here. The afternoon timing wasn't accidental. It was peak civilian activity time across Israel. Picture this: parents leaving work early to pick up children from soccer practice, families stopping at markets before dinner, students transitioning between after-school programs. By striking at 3:17 p.m. local time, the Houthis ensured maximum psychological impact. This follows their Sunday morning attack precisely at 7:20 a.m., the exact moment when parents across Israel were buckling kids into car seats for school runs. Military analysts are calling this temporal targeting, a frightening evolution from geographic targeting. The Houthis aren't just trying to hit locations anymore, they're weaponizing the Israeli circadian rhythm. According to Tel Aviv University's National Security Studies program, these are the first sustained attacks in history to systematically exploit civilian routines as a warfare. Now let's examine the military breakthroughs that made this possible. The simultaneous launch of two different missile types, believed to be a Birkin 3 and a Tufan ballistic missile, represents a logistical leap for the Houthis. Satellite imagery analyzed by the Center for Strategic and International Studies shows these launches originated from mobile platforms nearly 1,200 kilometers apart, yet were coordinated within 90 seconds of each other. This suggests either unprecedented command and control systems, or more likely, direct Iranian technical support through their Al-Quds force operatives embedded in Yemen. The concealment methods are equally sophisticated. Recent declassified Pentagon reports reveal Houthi missiles are now being transported in refrigerated food trucks and humanitarian aid containers, a cynical exploitation of civilian infrastructure. When combined with Yemen's natural terrain advantages, particularly the 2,800-meter-high Haraz Mountains where radar coverage is spotty at best, these mobile launchers become nearly impossible to track in real time. History provides sobering context here. During Operation Desert Storm in 1991, the U.S. dedicated over 15% of all combat sorties, that's nearly 2,500 missions, to hunting Saddam Hussein's Scud missiles across Iraq's western desert. Despite this massive effort, coalition forces only confirmed the destruction of 42 launchers out of an estimated 100. Fast forward to today, Yemen's terrain is 3 times more rugged than Iraq's Anbar province, with hundreds of natural caves that have been expanded into underground missile cities. Iran's role in this can't be overstated. Just 3 days before the Houthi attack, Tehran proudly unveiled its new underground missile metropolis, a 1,500-meter complex capable of housing hundreds of rockets. Defense Minister Mohammad Reza Ashtiani boasted it could withstand multiple direct nuclear strikes. While Yemen's facilities aren't as advanced, classified Israeli intelligence assessments suggest at least 12 similar sites now exist in northern Yemen, each requiring 72 continuous hours of bombing to neutralize, an impossible ask given current political constraints. The strategic consequences are staggering. For 517 consecutive days, that's 17 months without interruption, Israeli civilians have lived under this threat. Never before in the nation's 76-year history has such a large percentage of the population, nearly 40%, required repeated shelter evacuations for this duration. Psychologists are reporting a 300% increase in childhood PTSD cases across southern Israel. Meanwhile, U.S. efforts face daunting challenges. Each Houthi missile costs about $20,000 to produce, while the interceptors used to shoot them down cost $1 to $3 million each. It's an unsustainable economic equation. The Pentagon's most recent assessment suggests the Houthis still possess 85% of their pre-war arsenal despite months of airstrikes. As we stand at this crossroads, military experts agree on one fundamental truth: traditional deterrence has failed. The old playbook of airstrikes and sanctions isn't working against this networked, terrain-savvy, ideologically driven force. Some analysts propose targeted cyber warfare against launch systems. Others advocate for naval blockades of Iranian shipments. A controversial minority suggests direct negotiations with the Houthis themselves. What's undeniable is that the rules of Middle Eastern conflict have fundamentally changed. When a non-state actor can sustain this level of strategic missile attacks against two global military powers for over a year, we're witnessing a new era of warfare. The question isn't just how to stop the Houthis, it's how to adapt to this dangerous new reality where geography, technology, and psychology have converged to create an unprecedented threat matrix. I want to hear your solutions in the comments. Which strategy makes the most sense? Cyber attacks, special forces operations, diplomatic solutions? The conversation starts now, and if you found this analysis valuable, consider subscribing. We'll be doing a deep dive into Iran's missile cities next week.